Hi everyone, Chris here, science faculty at Steward Outdoor School in beautiful Ivoryton, Connecticut. We're in the middle of a pretty great New England winter here. Lots of snow, but some pretty drastic cold streaks as well. And when you and I can just put on an extra jacket or two or hop inside to warm up, one of the questions we get asked a lot is, what do all the animals on campus do during the winter? The answer is that all animals have special adaptations to dealing with different types of extreme weather conditions. And it really boils down to what type of animal you are and what's going on inside of your body. We put these animals into two categories, what are called endotherms and ectotherms. You may have heard the term warm-blooded and cold-blooded before, but we'll talk a little bit about why we don't like that terminology. Let's take a look inside Bushy Nature Center and see some of the examples of these organisms. So first up are the endothermic animals. These are animals that maintain their body temperature from the inside. They usually have what's called a high metabolism. That means they have to eat a lot of food, which gives them a lot of energy, but also keeps their body temperature up. These are what used to be called warm-blooded animals, but we don't like to use that term anymore, and we'll talk about later why. These include birds, like our owl right here, or mammals, like this fisher, the little bat, or humans, like you and me. If you're an endotherm, your inside body temperature can't go down very much. Some endotherms don't want anything to do with walking around during the cold winter trying to find food, and I can't blame them. So they eat a lot in the fall to get really big, and during the winter, while they sleep or hibernate, their body turns that fat into energy. Can you think of a good example of an animal that hibernates? Yeah, you're all probably thinking of is a bear. It's not just bears, other mammals hibernate as well, including groundhogs and bats. But there's also tons of endotherms that don't hibernate, who still need to stay warm as they move around during the winter looking for food. They do this either by having lots of fur or feathers that act like a jacket to keep them warm and let them go out to gather food in the cold, or by making home under the leaves and snow, which insulate them like a blanket. The other category of animals are ectothermic animals, and their strategy is to have their internal body temperature match the environment around them. So when it's hot, they're hot, and when it's cold, they're cold. These used to be called cold-blooded animals, but if it's 100 degrees outside, then their inside body temperature is 100. That's not very cold, is it? These include animals like this snail, or mollusks, amphibians, like our frog here, fish out in ponds or lakes, or reptiles, like Alfie. The ectotherms have a whole other set of problems to deal with. Remember, their body temperature matches the environment around them, so if they're out in temperatures below freezing for too long, they'll freeze too. Or if they don't freeze, it's still cold enough that their metabolism is so slow that they'll have very little energy and can barely move to find food. But it's a two-way street, because if you're not moving a lot, then you don't need a lot of food or energy to begin with. Lots of ectotherms on land will go dormant during the winter, a lot like those bears hibernate. They'll find a pile of rocks or a hole in the ground to stay in and hide. Everything going on in their body slows down so much that they don't need to eat, and they barely even breathe or have a heartbeat during all of this. It's the same for a lot of animals that live in the water too, like lots of the fish, frogs, and turtles here at Steward. Many of these animals will bury themselves in the mud where it stays just a couple degrees above freezing all winter long, and they'll hardly make any trips to the surface for air. Lucky for all the fish swimming around, the whole pond doesn't freeze up during the winter, and the ice stays just at the surface. Why that happens is a lesson for another day. But what it does is allow the fish to keep swimming around underneath the ice, albeit a little bit slowly, and continue to look for food as they need it. Then when spring comes, the ice and snow melt, everything warms back up, and it becomes a little less difficult to live here in the Northeast. After hearing about all of that, I'm pretty sure that Alfie is happy that he's back in Bushy Nature Center with all the food that he needs. Thanks for watching. This has been Chris from the Steward Outdoor School in Ivoryton, Connecticut, wishing all you endotherms a very happy winter. Make sure to continue to watch throughout the year as we bring you tons of fun and educational content from around campus. Hope to see you soon.